Hi guys, what's up? Liam here, and today I'm going to be telling the story of how and why a certain Touhou song became my favorite song of all time. First things first though, when most people think of their favorite Touhou songs, some may say Bad Apple, You and Owen Was Her, Night of Nights, Necrophantasia, History of the Moon, Love Colored Master Spark, etc. My favorite song will come to a shock of many, and my favorite Touhou song of all the ones I've ever heard is none other than Plain Asia from Touhou 8 Imperishable Night. This song was Kane Kamishirasawa's boss fight theme for Stage 3 in that game. However, I'm going to be honest and say that the original version was actually not the first version I heard of the song. The story between myself and this song begins sometime in 2012 or 2013 when I was merely 7 years old. I had been introduced to a content creator, which I will get into for another video I have planned, who did Mario Kart Wii video series, and one in particular was called Mario Kart Wii Olympics, where the creator would mess around on tracks and perform funny stunts and glitches. One of the tracks he did on for a video was Maple Treeway, and in that video, a remix of Plain Asia from the Dark Phoenix album titled Arrow Rain was played for most of the video. At that point in time, I usually never cared about the songs the creator used in his videos since I only cared about the content that he was making and not the music that he was using. Fast forward a few years later to around late 2019 or early 2020 when I had returned to watching the person's content after taking a break for a while. And at that point in time, I actually had cared for the song he was using. The song truly felt like one I hadn't heard in a long time, and after watching the video for the first time in forever, I began to search for the song after hearing it, wondering just what this supposed masterpiece of work it was. Immediately, I was able to find it after searching it up, and I listened to it again shortly afterwards, which made me even more drawn to it. The intensity of the piano, metal, rock and roll, and trumpets throughout the 4-minute span of the song hit me to the back of my head, and it made me tear up a little in a way from what I was hearing. To that point in my life also, I was a 14-year-old turning 15-year-old freshman at high school with a mental state that I would describe as not so good from my first early teenager experience. I found Plain Asia to be a form of stress relief whenever I played it, and by mid-2020, it became an all-time favorite of mine to listen to. However, towards fall, I began to decline mentally thanks to numerous factors, such as not being able to keep up academically with online learning and the loss of one of my dogs, which really set me back to the point that I almost didn't want to be alive. Eventually, I managed to pull myself together, and as I used many songs to try and calm me down from the pain and suffering I was experiencing, Plain Asia was one that I played frequently. Of course, I had other interests in music as well to that point, so I alternated between other types of music, which I'm not going to be discussing, but nonetheless, the song would play more roles as I began to play it while working on my schoolwork throughout my junior year, and around the same time, I was almost an adult, and as such, I began to reminisce about my old days. And this song really helped me trigger some old memories, which is another reason why Plain Asia is my favorite song. This song can really bring forth a feeling of nostalgia and can trigger emotions when remembering stuff throughout life if it does provide such a feeling. Now, as I said before though, I didn't actually hear the original version of Plain Asia until much later after discovering the original Dark Phoenix remix. So by late 2023, I listened to it for the first time, and at first I didn't find it to be as cool as the Dark Phoenix remix, but I gave it a second chance, and soon I searched for more versions of Plain Asia, whether they're played on piano or some kind of remix, and I truly became enamored with most of them. Now, I've never cared for the gameplay, really, regarding Touhou or most things from about the characters from those games, but I was fascinated to learn that Kane Kamishirasawa was associated with the subject of history, my favorite subject over the years of my life. And at that point, I could somewhat see why I was thinking about the history of my life whenever I played the song, since the song was associated with a character that can erase or create history in someone like Kane. Over the last year and a half, I've discovered many piano iterations and a few remixes of Plain Asia, and I took some time to put together a playlist by the start of this year of all of my favorite iterations that I've discovered on YouTube. This song is also one of the very few that has made me cry over the course of my life. I normally do not get very emotional when listening to music, but somehow, in some way, a song from out of nowhere that most people wouldn't know or expect got me emotional. As I have said in a sense, it has helped me recall memories that I haven't had in my head for a long amounts of time. I can also see and feel my past and younger self every time I play this song. I don't know if I will ever truly get into watching playthroughs of Imperishable Night or other Touhou games, but the music is truly the one thing that always wins me over when it comes to Touhou. You guys can also check out my playlist dedicated to the song, and it's filled with many versions of the song I found across the platform. I hope you've enjoyed me talking about why Plain Asia is my favorite time, and feel free to leave feedback if you wish. I will respond. See you guys.